Hi, everyone. I'm Babs Butcher, and you're listening to The Butcher's Block. This is a podcast where I hang out with cosplayers and artists and talk about the secrets and insiders' perspective of the creative community. We are in SFX Studios.
What up?
And we're excited to be bringing you even more of The Butcher's Block. Tune in every Monday to hear a new episode available on SoundCloud and Facebook. Go to the Partynerdz on SoundCloud and Facebook, and soon to be on the Partynerdz YouTube. Make sure you're subscribed to the Partynerdz and to me, Babs Butcher, and to the guests that you'll meet on the show. We'll have a new combination of guests each time, and we'll list their handles either on the video or in the caption below. So make sure you follow them. You'll be able to know when the episode is dropping and where to find all their content. Okay, so we are lucky enough to have two beautiful men on the show. I know you've been watching a lot of episodes where it's been gorgeous ladies, but I don't discriminate. I like
Big butts and she cannot lie.
I like to have my ladies on the show, but I like to hear the men's perspective. And I like to hear what these two guys have to say. So on my right, I have Dom. Dom, can you tell everybody where to find you online?
Yep. It's at Dom Charland, DOMCHARLAND. That's on Instagram.
AKA
Nice.
Dom Charmander.
Dom Charmander.
And we have Nay on the other side. Nay, where can people find you?
At your mom's house.
You can find me in St. Louis, rolling them dubs.
Smoking on clubs, blowing up like double buzz, sipping buzz.
Oh, man. We pre-gamed way too early for this one. Way too early. You can find him as Cosplay Nay, COSPLAY
Sipping buzz, getting pumped.
NAY
All right, yeah,
on
you can
Instagram.
He said my name wrong. You can find me at Cosplay Nay on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter.
Nice. I love it. Thank you. Thank you for joining me today. We have an episode, I think, that nobody's talking about this topic, and I'm excited to hear your perspective on things. I'm going to take a little bit of a back seat on this.
There's going to be a lot of bad words in this
They don't
podcast.
care
I'm
about
warning you right now. I am
But-
super passionate about this one.
But
They don't
before
really care about us.
before we get into it, I just want to thank everybody who's watching and listening. There's an unbelievable outpouring of excitement and support for this podcast, and I really didn't think that it was going to be this big to people, that it was going to matter to people, but people are really excited that we're talking about stuff that people don't talk about. The thing about the cosplay community, I say it a lot, is it's like the Wild West, and there's no rules and there's no gatekeeping sometimes, and people have to learn through trial and error. They have to learn by mistakes, unfortunately, and I've had enough of it. I've made my mistakes. I've learned the hard way, and I powered through it. I don't know about you guys, but I want things to be a little bit more clear and straightforward for people. So thank you for liking that we're doing this, and thank you for supporting us and coming up with new topics, too. I get emails about new topics. And if anything that we say on this podcast brings up a good story, email me, babsbutcheremail@gmail.com. I want to hear your stories, and I want to make a segment in the future where I get to read your stories and your emails, okay? So we have Dom and Nay here. I talked on a previous episode how we met. Watch or listen to How to Date a Cosplayer to know how I got to know these two gorgeous men here, and let's get into it. So our topic today is
let's do this.
cosplay men and why there is a glass ceiling on them in the cosplay community.
So let's just elaborate on that for a second, right?
Mhm.
So when we talk about glass ceiling, we talk about why is it that men almost plateau at a much lower rate of influence and reach, etc., versus women. I mean, right? That's really what we're talking about, right, Babs?
Absolutely.
Mhm. Yeah. So we're talking about that. We're talking about the challenges that men face in the cosplay community, and it's, to me, from my perspective, it's like a reversal. Ladies that are listening or watching, we experience this glass ceiling in pretty much every other industry.
Mhm.
And this is the first time that I'm stepping into a field And it's the reverse. It's like a Twilight Zone episode where I'm like, what's happening? I can succeed and the men are behind me and just struggling to get any recognition for all the hard work they put in. This is opposite world.
You know why? And it's fucked up to say, but that's because it's sexualized to some degree.
100%. 100%.
You know, women in the cosplay community. Excuse me.
Women are hot
A lot
and
of
men are
women
not.
in the cosplay
Yeah.
community. Right. Exactly. And it's fucked up because I'm just gonna be straightforward with this shit. A lot of cosplay women, well, a lot of people, cosplayers and common folk, don't look at women in the cosplay community as cosplayers.
Nope.
They look at them as snacks,
Yeah.
desserts, porn
Models,
stars, models,
fantasies.
sex symbols, fantasies. You know how you say that? Faps.
Yeah, something for your fat bank.
Yeah,
Fat
that
bank,
shit.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Fat fodder.
that's what it is.
But
It's
here's the
fucked up,
thing:
but
is
it is-
we're
that's the
we're fapping
honest
to the
truth.
cosplay men. So why isn't it equal?
Because women are more conservative sexually,
Okay.
in my opinion.
Okay.
Women are more conservative sexually than men.
Mhm.
I.e., you don't just see women randomly just throwing pussy pictures and titty pictures in your inbox or your DMs, as opposed to some guy just dick pic, dick pic, and that's fucked up. But that's just how it is. You know, men are unfortunately more aggressive sexually. You know, and they have less control when it comes to their hormones. You know, as far as their approach.
Right,
But
just because
that's
women
another conversation.
celebrate their body and celebrate their appearance, and they may feel proud and they want to show off and have that body confidence, that body positivity,
Right.
doesn't mean that then they're grabbing every dude off the street
Right.
and banging them after hours.
Mhm.
The other way around, though, men will do that. Men will be like, they'll grab whatever comes their way. They will. Let's be real, right? As Butcher's block is where it stays real.
Yeah,
So
okay.
men are that aggressive. They're that overtly aggressive, and there's less nuance to what they do. You know, women, they put themselves out there and they're alluring and they're attractive. And like I said before, women are hot and men are not. There's an episode of Seinfeld like 20 years ago where there's good naked versus bad naked, right? And those women are good naked, and then
Yes.
men, we just look like hairy apes.
Yes.
Let's be real.
And it's crazy because, like, men take a picture with their shirt off. Oh, man, you're showing too much. Oh, put a shirt on. Oh, that's this and that's that. Women show cleavage. Oh, this is beautiful. Oh, I love it. Heart eyes.
Fire,
heart
fire,
emojis,
fire.
Hands up things. And, I mean, I've commented on quite a few posts and stuff because, I mean, I personally love titties. But that's neither here or there right now, But, yeah, I mean, the point is, women are looked at, or as Dom said before, dehumanized in the cosplay community to some degree. To some degree. And it's fucked up.
Yeah, they're
It's fucked up.
objectified. There's
Yes.
women are just, there's a harsh reality that women are just more attractive, more alluring, and they feel more comfortable marketing themselves as such, right? So there's a stigma that unless you have washboard abs as a guy, right? Unless you are cut and shredded, like, dad bods are not, we joke about it, but they're not really a thing. They don't get likes on Instagram, right? So like, if you're just not viewed as attractive as a guy if you are not that Jason Momoa, Joe Manganiello kind of body type, right? So you can't market yourself in that way. And I think that for women, there is always that hunger and that thirst for that beautiful, even if you don't sexualize it, just people love things that are beautiful. People go to museums, people, beautiful flowers, a gorgeous pizza, I'll jump right on that shit.
Women are pizza. is what
Women
we're
are
trying to
pizzas.
say.
Yeah, exactly.
love
But give
pizza.
me a slice.
I love pizza.
But men,
No sausage on my
Yeah,
pizza, though.
but men. So it's easy to see the beauty in a beautiful in any woman.
Yep.
It's a lot harder to look at a man and be like, wow, I want more of that. And I speak for myself here because I personally am going to double tap a woman's picture over a man's picture, and I am all for equality, but it's also something where I don't feel comfortable complimenting men sometimes in
Really?
their yeah.
It
I
makes
d-
sense. It makes sense.
I will
Compliment
say
will take that
look at my
completely
comments on women's pictures.
you are so thirsty on
you-
women's pictures. You are so
No, but-
thirsty
but
on
it's
women's
okay
pictures.
because you know what? Women or other women don't look at it as her being thirsty.
As
They look at it
As predatory. That's the
as
word right there.
It's not
Yeah, they look
predatory
at
when
it as
when I say it. I say
being supportive.
like
That's 100% what it
you,
is.
You are
Being
are
supportive.
killing me. Let me lick your face. I can say something stupid like that
Yes.
on a girl's Instagram,
Yes.
and she'll be like, "Babe, I love you."
And they'll laugh it off.
The problem is
if a
with
guy
men.
said that,
Yep.
or if I said that to a guy, they'd be like,
So,
you trying to
inbox.
fuck?"
Inbox. That's the thing. So men,
DM.
number one, men don't feel comfortable going outside of their comfort zone, right? So they don't market themselves appropriately to an equal share audience. And because of that fear of being perceived as being predatory, like there's tons of pictures where I just want to be like, damn. And I actually have to preface it by saying, not trying to be a creeper right now, but this is fire, and I am so appreciative because you want to make sure you separate yourself from that.
But you know
thirst.
what? Okay, so does anybody else feel me? I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck, and I am happy that you guys have to be censored, even though I love these guys, and
Oh, who
I
the
never,
fuck is censored?
I-
Not us, said the cat.
I never feel uncomfortable around the men who are in my life in the cosplay community. I never, I wouldn't be hanging out with you if
But
I.
that's because you know us, though.
Yes.
So,
But I am still glad that there are shackles on these men, that they can't say dumb shit, because when I'm in my 9-to-5 job, which we'll talk about that some other time, double lives, men come up and men, you know what these men are saying to women. You know how they treat us. So I walk into a community where men have to be careful about what they say. Fucking great.
well, it's good, right? Because I think for those of us that are mature and understand it and understand the logic behind it and then are mindful of it, it's just a key to respect right there. And you have to have those shackles because in this world of introverted people that don't know how to express themselves on the internet, some real zany shit happens. So it's good that that's there. It's almost like in the workplace, going back to that other episode that we did, where you have to kind of treat cosplay as a workplace and as a community, because otherwise you are going to get ethered. You're going to get scarlet leather. You're going to get
Blacklisted.
blacklisted.
It is a workplace, you know. It's just not, you know.
There's
well,
no
to-
actual HR.
Right, yeah. To some degree, there's no compensation and nothing like that. There's no fucking W-2s for cosplay.
Yeah.
But it is a workplace.
Yep.
You know, I mean, no matter how you look at it, it is a workplace.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, and you have to be careful what you say, what you write, and like, you know, what you post. You know, like that's just the reality of it.
The one point that you brought up before, Dom, is really I don't want to put photographers on blast
Oh,
here,
yeah.
but it's the reality. I think any photographer who's straightforward and honest knows.
Yep.
What was your point?
So my point was, and I'm glad that you prefaced it with a disclaimer, Baz, because we know some amazing photographers
Yes.
that do amazing work. But
you're our coworkers.
yeah,
Yeah.
and you help us to look amazing.
Mhm.
That being said, everyone that picks up a camera doesn't have that same decorum. I mean, there are some
Yes,
amazing
exactly.
photographers out
Yep.
there. JMW, M. David, they know how to make someone feel comfortable in a room, right?
Yep.
And they know how to be candid with you. There are other less experienced photographers out there that they only take pictures of beautiful women.
Yep.
Only in boudoir, only in revealing outfits.
Which is also discriminatory against women, because sometimes
Absolutely.
if they choose not to work with you as a woman, you're like, oh,
it's because
got
I
it.
won't get in lingerie. Exactly.
Yeah.
Or they don't consider you beautiful.
Exactly. So for a man now, right? So if I go to a con, I've had experiences, right, where I'm suited up, I'm ready to go. I put a lot of work into it, and nothing.
You don't have titties.
You don't have titties. It's as simple as
You have
that.
the camel toe.
I'm not trying to be stereotypical.
I mean, you got a fat ass though.
I do have a fat ass, though, let me tell you. I'm not trying to be stereotypical, but there are some photographers out there, and a lot of them are younger, and a lot of them are less experienced, like I said. And what they do is they exclude you because they know, well, I'm not going to get likes, and I'm not going to get clicks, and I'm not going to get follows if I post a picture of this dude. It doesn't matter that he's in a 10-foot Iron Man cosplay Hulkbuster. It doesn't matter
That
that
he
he
worked a
worked
year on this.
years, that
Yeah.
he's got stilts. It doesn't matter because there is no cleavage.
Yeah.
And I have friends who are female who cosplay as characters like, Black Widow with full bodysuit and body armor with no cleavage showing. They can't get any traction because people don't want to photograph them
Yep.
because they're not willing to unzip it.
So there's a small niche amount of cosplayers that photographers want to photograph, and it's discriminatory against everyone else,
All right.
men or women. So we understand that we're it's a double-edged sword.
Okay,
We're
so
saying that this is a workplace, and we're saying be respectful and treat it as a workplace.
But there is favoritism
But-
based off of what you're willing to
but
do.
it's a business is what we're saying, and then we're mad that we're not marketable.
So let me ask you a question then, and this may be a little off topic, and this may be a conversation for like another episode. Female cosplayers that wear things such as, I'll just say, a Pokemon bathing suit, like a Bulbasaur bathing suit,
Oh, is that cosplay?
top, panties. Yeah, is that considered a cosplay?
We've talked about
Or
that
like
on
sexy cosplay? Or-
we've talked about that on the Partynerdz before.
Okay.
You can't define it. Just to summarize, because we don't have a lot of time. You can't define what cosplay is.
Right.
One, because it's a hobby, and two, because it's art.
Okay.
Since you can't define it, you can't restrict it. So if someone puts on, if someone's like in Mean Girls and's like, "Duh, I'm a mouse," then fine. Like,
Oh
yeah,
my
it's
God,
cosplay.
stop trying to make that happen.
Very interesting. Very interesting.
Like you can't restrict it. You can't define it. So if someone says they're cosplaying, they're cosplaying.
But let's look at the tiers, right? So you have photographers trying to get likes and clicks. So we go after sexy first, and then we go after more conservative females, and at the very bottom are guys. So that glass ceiling is when guys take photos, it's all photos on the iPhone or on a Droid.
But
So
let me
I'm
stop
posting
you,
pictures
though.
that are low quality compared to everyone else out there.
But they're even fucking picky about the guys. It's
Yeah.
not just the guys. They want the popular guys. You
Or
know
the
what I
ones
mean?
willing to do crazy shit. How
Yep.
many times have you been
So-
passed over as Spider-Man, but the minute you climb up on a wall,
Yep.
everyone's chasing after you?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and
Absolutely.
you
You
have to
know,
That wow factor.
You have
they
to
want that
do
shot.
video. You have to be funny. That's the one thing
Yeah.
a lot of guys say. If men feel a little, it's a little homophobic. They're like, I'm not gonna like some guy's shit unless he's really funny.
No, I show
Unless he's
love.
bringing something more. Because if he just looks good, then I
People feel a certain type of way about it because of
Nah,
their
nah,
own
I said the
ignorance.
cat. I show love, man. I show love.
yeah. Well,
Motherfuckers take their
well,
shirt
not
off.
everyone
Awesome,
can
dope
be
picture.
like these guys.
It's cool.
Be
right?
more like them.
You know, I mean, because at the end of the day, even those guys who got the muscles and shit like that, they put in work. you
They put
know?
in
Yeah.
work.
They put in work. So, you know, I mean, genuinely or whatever, you know, as a guy or whatever, you're going to show it off. You know what I mean? You're going to show it off because you put in that work. You want to show your body or whatever. And it's not just, oh, I put a picture up on Instagram to show off my body. If you're at a beach or whatever, you're not going there with a fucking North Face
Nope,
on.
nope,
You
nope.
know what I mean? So, like, your shorts,
North Face and Tim's.
I mean, your shirt is off or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Some guys fucking go swimming in fucking Speedos. You can't say, oh, he just showing off his body. He just swimming comfortably. You know, that's his comfort zone. In fucking Speedos,
And not
trunks.
every guy is comfortable with that, and
Right.
not every guy markets themselves to every market. Some
Right.
guys are just dumb, and they
Yeah.
market themselves only to
On-
hetero males because they're not comfortable.
Or
Some
hetero
guys
males
aren't
or
even
hetero
fucking marketing.
females.
They're
Or hetero
just
female, yeah.
in their
Yeah.
own comfort zone. You know, it's just like, you know what? It's a fucking sunny day out. I want to go out there, hit the beach, take my shirt off, and relax.
So really, it's we're complaining about it, and there are inherent issues that need to be repaired. I think in a lot of ways the cosplay community is behind about like 10 years.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So here's to the next 10 years.
Here's the next 10 years.
But let me ask you a question, though. Do you think that goes back to people having low self-esteem?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Because here's the thing is, I know we plan to talk about
And being
our
introverts?
cosplay double lives, but and I know we were out of time, but if I'm a guy and I have a work life and a family and I have an Instagram, I may not want to post things that portray to other men, even gay men or whatever, because I'm afraid of what that is the perception of me, right?
Yeah, we
So
need to talk about that. at
yeah,
some
men
point.
don't market themselves to a diverse audience, I guess is what I'm saying. So
Uh,
we don't help ourselves in that way either.
Yeah, I think that a lot of things need to change. I think there's a lot more content here that we can talk about. But
Absolutely.
for the meantime, thank you for joining us. This is the Butcher's Block. I have Dom Charlin over here on Instagram, Dom Charlin, and Cosplay Nay. Thank you for joining me, gentlemen, and thank you for talking about something that you really do need to be brave to talk about, and it's not talked about enough. So thank you for joining me, and we'll catch you on the next episode of the Butcher's
Thanks
Block.
for having us.
See ya.
Deuces.
Baz Butcher, I choose you.
Yay!